Robinhood snacks for April 14. Let's see what they tell us. And right here, it looks like we got people at Delta lining up. So it says that everything was green, which is always good. Look at Bitcoin at 30K. How awesome is that? I sold my Bitcoin at a loss and kind of regretting it now. But I should have bought the dip when Bitcoin was like 20K. Anyway, hey Snipers, calling all treasure hunters. A museum in Maine is offering a $25,000 reward for the first person to find a piece of meteor seen flying over the state last week. This one really does belong in a museum. Stocks popped yesterday, led by the tech Nasdaq, after fresh data showed that producer prices, an important contributor to inflation, cooled last month. Next up, big banks kick off earnings season with household names like JP Morgan Chase and Citi reporting today. So Delta enjoys higher bookings as consumers plunge on delayed YOLO experiences. Biscoff cookies and Coca-Cola, a match made in cabin. Delta unloaded first quarter earnings yesterday. The Atlanta-based carrier posted a chunkier than expected loss, partly driven by extra costs like raises for pilots and employee bonuses. But Delta said it saw sunnier skies ahead and forecasts upbeat sales growth and profits for the spring. Booked Italian summer in March. Delta projected record advance summer bookings as consumers continue to prioritize travel, planning trips in months in advance. Champagne and free socks first and business class sales. Think premium products made up over half of Delta's revenue as 4K plungers on bed-like seat beats out economy spending. How does that not surprise me? But this is very interesting that it made up over half of Delta's revenue. Like, I can see why they focus on first class and business class when it comes to their flying. So charge it up to corporate. Delta said business travel bookings have been rebounding with U.S. corporate sales in March at 85% pre-pandemic levels. Cloudy, still, Delta, JetBlue, and other airlines are dialing back growth plans and routes as airport labor shortages and congestion limit capacity. And there's only 47 days left till check-in. Consumers are upping their travel spending despite cutting back in other areas, while inflation has been steadily cooling. Travel costs are still sky high. U.S. airfares rose 4% from February to March and are up 17% on the year. Spring break 2023 is expected to be the busiest travel season ever for airlines, and the TSA expects demand to keep soaring throughout the year. Last quarter, Delta's advanced cash bookings were up nearly 20% from pre-pandemic levels, and CEO Ed Bastian said he doesn't see a pullback on the horizon. Delayed YOLO beats YOLO because everyone wants something to look forward to. Consumers are cutting back on instant gratification buys like new iPhones and online order clothing binges in favor of delayed gratification experiences like summer vacations. We'll get another window into the travel sector when Alaska Airlines and United Airlines report next week. And, as a person who wants to travel, I feel like I'm part of the delayed YOLO because I didn't travel that much in the past. And now I feel like that summer's coming up. I want to travel. So this is kind of interesting how this is happening. We're combining the delayed YOLO with summer. So if you're thinking about getting into stocks that have to do with airlines, right now might not be a bad time because right now you're reading about this happening. And you're 47 days early, right? So when you think about this is when you want to swing, right? But you got to have balls because nobody wants to swing right now in this market. Everybody wants to just take profits ASAP. But when you think about it, 47 days from now, that means people are booking in the next 47 days, which means that the next earnings that come out, you're going to see good stuff, right? So this is just stuff to think about. Like, when you read this stuff, this is why I love reading the news because you got to be a forward thinker. Like, if you see this right now might not be a bad time to buy some calls on the ETFs that have to do with airlines or any airline in particular. You got to pick which airline is probably doing the best, which one's selling the most. Like right here, they're talking about Delta. That might not be a bad one to look into. Right now, Delta, I don't know what their price is at right now, but just something to think about, So, Amazon's Rumba acquisition is looking messy as the FTC continues its antitrust press. Stuck under couch, Amazon's 1.7 billion acquisition of Rumba maker iRobot has gathered dust since it was announced last summer. Amazon's potential fourth quarter acquisition ever is facing an investigation by the Federal Trade Commission and, as of last week, also by the UK's antitrust regulators. Amazon already so dominant that regulators may be concerned about it ruling the vacuum world. Small vacuum, big punch. In late 2021, iRobot held a whopping 62% of robotic vacuum market, excluding China, a significant larger market share than that held previously by Amazon buys like MGM and One Medical. Privacy please. Antitrust and data privacy experts are concerned that the acquisition might give Amazon access to Roomba customer data, camera that maps homes to avoid couch run-ins. iRobot shares are down 32% from Amazon's $61 share offering. The FTC, under Chair Lina Kang, has grown much tougher on big tech in recent years. In December, the agency sued to block Microsoft's $69 billion takeover of Activision Blizzard, and earlier this month ordered biotech company Illumina to undo its $7 billion buyout of cancer test developer Grail. The moves may be having an effect. Last year, Nvidia ditched plans to buy chipmaker ARM in what would have been the biggest semiconductor deal ever. Looking ahead, the FTC last month vowed to protect competition in the AI industry. And the takeaway is that antitrust is getting even antier, and that could be bad news for tech titans. In 2017, Amazon completed its $13.7 billion Whole Foods buyout within 3 months. Now it's 8 months into trying to buy iRobot. U.S. tech mergers and acquisitions were down last year as companies face a tougher market and risk of FTC lawsuits. Given the agency's due growth, cost-cutting companies might think twice about snatching up startups. And this is tough, because companies get bigger and then there's like monopolies, right? So I can see why they do this. It makes sense. Why Amazon wants a vacuum, it's kind of interesting. What do they want it for? It kind of makes you wonder if they do want it for that camera feature that maps out people's homes, right? Because then you get to see people's layouts. And it's kind of interesting how this stuff rolls out. Like, I do think, I do understand that smaller companies want to be bought out, right, by someone like Amazon, but I also see why the FTC shouldn't let them do this. So it makes sense, right? Especially the Microsoft acquiring Activision. It's kind of tough, you understand why these companies want to buy them out, but at the same time, it's like, it's tough. So the crypto catch-up. Techie. Ethereum, the second largest crypto, successfully completed a major updated dubbed Shanghai. Validators who locked up either as collateral can finally begin to withdraw and sell their stake coins. About that, coins as of yesterday, validators had queued up 1.7 billion worth of staked Ether to withdraw. The Shanghai update limits the number of coins which can be put out at once, so those who want to withdraw staked Ether have to get in line. Spicy. Crypto has a reputational problem. A Pew survey found that while nearly 90% of U.S. adults have heard of cryptocurrency, 2/3 are confident that current ways to trade the digital assets are safe. And crypto, it's a mixed bag, you guys. I don't know how I feel about it. I love it. I hate it. But it's tough to believe in any crypto that's not Bitcoin or even like Ethereum, because most of them seem like pump and dumps, right? And it's tough, Ethereum, I think they crossed the 2,000 threshold yesterday, so something to keep in mind, What else are we snacking on? So Amazon announced 2 large language models, one for creating text and one that could power search features. As tech giants speed up into the AI race, data concerns are brewing. And you know what's concerning me, you guys? If we're going to build the next Terminator. Like, you guys know those Terminator movies? Is that what's going to happen in the future? But Apple is set to open its first 2 stores in India. 5% of iPhones are now made in the country, and Apple reportedly shifting some production there from China, its biggest manufacturing hub. And as a person who loves Apple and is an Apple stockholder, I think it's good. You got to diversify from China. You got to have your phones being made elsewhere, right? I think that's good that we have 2 different places in case anything ever happens. Then you're not relying just on China, right? So Burn, the family-owned company behind Perel, is looking for a buyer. Possible price tag is $3 billion. Gojo Industries saw hand sanitizer demand soar during the pandemic, but demand has since plunged. And I guess good luck. I don't really, thing about me is that before I would never use hand sanitizer, but now I always keep some in my car because it's so handy. Like when you go out to eat, or when you eat in your car, or you just want to clean your hands, like it's so handy to have hand sanitizer. So, but I mean, I'm not gonna like people are not gonna go out and buy it anymore. So I don't know if they can still command a $3 billion price tag. So Gucci. Rent the Runaway said demand for its rented designer fits its growing, with subscribers up 8% on the year. The biz reported expectations beating quarterly numbers, though it's still losing money. TikTok owner ByteDance is said to be offering cash payouts of up to 25K to VR app developers. The goal is to bring apps built for Meta's VR platform over to ByteDance competing Pico headset. And for the first time, some banks lost money for each mortgage they financed last year. And again, I really like reading snacks because I just finished reading Morning Brew and like they didn't talk about the same stuff. So it's always good to get your news from different like media outlets because they talk about different stuff. But if you enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button down below. Thanks for watching.